Okay, we are once again going to double check and make sure that everything is good to go. A few channels that honestly probably should have been closed. Yes, no. All I need? All I need. Okay. Neat. And oh wait, no, there's the one thing I forgot to do. Make sure the YouTube chat is currently still not mix it up. But soon, my soon. There we go. Look, all I can promise is that, you know, I have both chats. I have both chats on OBS. I will pay attention to both of you. I still need to. Actually, you know what? I was thinking about this. And I was like, oh wait, actually, what if I set up a ask me about X question on YouTube? That way they can ask me about the movie that I watched, and then I can be like, oh hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll happily talk. And I have to do all this without my water bottle because I forgot it. Forgot out in the living room. I already set my so hopefully she will sometime in the near future. Meantime, I don't know what to do about those sippy redeem. I guess we'll just have to deal. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so who's ready for this? Oh shit, I was supposed to write my monthly update thing, aren't I? Because I'll have to do that tomorrow, no problem. Okay, sweet. Hey there, heroes. My name is Hero Girl. I'm a friendly local neighborhood hero tuber. And I'm also a professional idea haver. Today is March 2nd, Monday, 2026, and this is The Daily Grind. This is that time of the day where we come online and we grind our dailies. You've got dailies to grind. Maybe you're just hanging out. Maybe you're just relaxing because you did all your grinding beforehand. Need some body doubling. Maybe you just want to hang out and hear the sultry tones of my voice. Sultry? Sultry? No, me. Sultry stuff. Not me. I mean, like, there are people who just, like, have the voice for that. I am definitely not one of them. You know what I do have? I have a fire hose of personality. You get me going, and it's just like that gif of the dog trying to eat the hose water, but it's blasting him right in the face. Yeah, that's what we got. Also kind of productive today. Actually, if you're watching this on the YouTube side, like, let me know what you think of the new thumbnail. I went ahead and I made a new thumbnail for the YouTubes. It's a redraw of me playing Triple Triad, except I'm playing Triple Triad with magic cards. I thought that might be, you know, this little image, little thing to do. I like the other one that I used, the menu screen for Final Fantasy Magic and stuff, and I was like, yeah, but every time I see it, I'm thinking, wow, this is so low effort. I want to do something that takes just like a little bit more, something that's a little bit more celebratory, so that I, you know, be unhappy to use regularly. Something that hopefully shows that I put more thought and feeling into the thumbnail than so the other things I work on. So there, we got it. New thumbnail. And then I've got a new thumbnail for FF8 as well. And then also, like, I don't know. I've got to work on some Fugi stuff. Actually, if I'm looking at my list right now, I still have to work on the song. I still have to work on, like, a song that I can sing for when I get really salty playing Magic. Work on the updated Fugis for Stormblood. I am blueprinting some decks for my husband. Some commander decks, because he does not like deck building. And then I need to update my movie list, too. Now that I'm following the librarian on Blue Sky and he's retweeting Northern Lions letterbox reviews, I'm going to have more things to add to the watch later so I know what the fuck he's talking about. Oh yeah, they keep coming out with movies, and I'm trying to catch up on the movies, but it's impossible because they keep coming out with movies. The bonus side of Super Sentai being canceled is that there will not be more Super Sentai. Therefore, I can actually catch up on all of the Super Sentai. Kind of the same with Power Rangers, except like I'd already seen most of Power Rangers. I guess there's some stuff I do still need to see since we finally got a female Red for that last season. Oh well. By the way, Lucky, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. And Kellen, thank you so much for lurking. Here's a quote from Lucky. You could say the same about video games. Trying to catch up, but they keep coming out with new ones. There is no catching up. Not for people like us. There is only... Okay. Which one out of this swath ocean am I actually going to, like, you know, try out next? A good problem to have. It's part of why I'm not really worried about any sort of like decline video games, because there's just so many classics that I have not yet played. Like I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII on Friday with my good buddy Fran. You might have heard it. Yeah. You might have heard of it. It's called Final Fantasy Friday. And I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII for the first time, and that's a lot of fun. And there's like, you know, at least 12 more of those fuckers that I can try. Not even including the sequels for all that stuff. So, what are we doing today? Well, considering that tomorrow is the release of a brand new set on Arena, that's going to mean a refresh of all the dailies. So we need to clear out all of our dailies. We need to kill a bunch of stuff. We need to cast a bunch of red spells. I think you all know where we're going with this. We're going to go ahead and play some Clothis. And in May, Dragon Hero Girl kicking and screaming at the Dragon Quest. Why would... Lucky, did I ever give you the impression that I was an unwilling participant? No! You invited me into the Devil's Sacrament, and I asked if I should bring brownies. We're playing Stola. We're playing against a control deck. I'm gonna instantly scoop because we need to kill creatures, and an Esper control deck is not gonna have creatures for us to kill. Or at the very least, I highly suspect that an Ishtola deck is not going to have creatures for us to kill. You're kidding? Of course. Well, I know you're kidding. The laughing dog emote helps a lot with tone indication. So like, you know, I did pick that up, and so like, you know, I'm kind of playing it along. That's the bit. That's currently the bit right now. But also like, you know, so that Lucky warned me he would do it, gave me pause. You know what? That's probably. High Bay Forest Guardian. This is never a match where we win. We can kill High Bay. We can kill the Mana Dorks. How easy it is for us to kill Mana Dorks. We can Fire Prophecy with Tech Hazard. Do once. We have Banditry, Missiles. Give me a free mulligan before we decide whether we're bowing out or not. Okay. If we have 1, 2, 3 cards that can kill High Bay, I'm willing to. Oh, and hallelujah. My wife with my water. Thank you so much, wifey. Let's see. Okay, they went and they cracked their wooded foothills. That was what I literally turned my head. I was like, wait, what? Hooba! Let's go. What's a bolt? It's basically stabling 3 damage on anything else I do. I guess it's what Pyroclasm is. No, I do want it. I do want it in case they drop like any of the Mana Dorks. Because you have to turn it... Yeah, exactly. And then you turn into Wooded Foothills. And now we're in a position where I have to figure out... Yeah, Overlord, sure, we don't. I don't have any more Surveil land. Raw, I read everything instantly. I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna grab my basic forest here. And then... Ow, that bites. That really bites. No lands. I usually like hitting cloth this up and the mull till we get to the 4-point slot. No dice. I'm gonna have to pop this Molten Exile if I can't hit him. Otherwise, I could drop like an Anger of the Gods or a Slag Storm. That'd be pretty cool. Repercussion. This is bad. I mean, I get to cast like I get to kill a bunch of stuff thanks to that Ghost Shentai, so there is that. Yeah, of course I play. Come on, just one more land, please. That is technically what I asked for. Technically what I asked for. I could Mizium Mortar, but... Okay. So, I guess we'll just have to see. Let's see. Slag Storm 3 to each creature. That's probably about right. If I hit... I need like triple red to make this work to kill High Bay as well. I mean, I guess the bare minimum is I get to kill like 3 creatures and then High Bay is also on board. Ghost Fire. Okay. I didn't hit what I wanted. 4 damage to anything. There's an Overlord there. That's like 10 damage anyway. Like, we were never going to win. This is just about how many creatures I can kill. I can kill Ghost Shentai with Frostbite. I've also got the Pyroclasm. Only got like 2 red to work with. Yeah, and I don't even have enough mana. Yeah. Boom you. Yeah, we'll just go ahead. We'll do this to each creature. And then that's like 10 damage. So I guess we'll wait to see if anything happens. Yep. Down to 2. Any shrine should do. No? Okay. Well, I get to cast a couple. What do I want to cast? What can kill High Bay or Overlord? 4 damage to any target. Frostbite. I guess we're just trying to maximize. Yep. Alright. Oh wait, no, the Ghost Fire is the Void. Right. Ghost Fire is the Void. Yeah. I guess I could have killed High Bay. Or at least gone for High Bay, and that would have been an extra kill. Whoops. Yeah, it's fine. We were almost done with that. I'm pretty sure we got the kill achievement anyway. Yeah, we got it, no problem. So now we just have to cast spells. That's even better. So we gotta cast red and green spells, we gotta cast red and blue spells, but if we just cast red spells. Technically, I could also be playing Cypher. I could play Cypher Zell. I could also be running... well, do I have anything besides Cypher and Zell? I feel like I do. Oh, well. By the way, folks, can I just mention that the Yuri on Ice essay that I posted last year, like literally a little over a year ago, Has over 9,000 views at this point, and I am very happy slash hold on. Ah, this is the Fire Lord Azula. This is can deal with Azula but only on their turn. Kills Azula, secure the critics. Has that that's the same issue where I only have 2. It's an Azula deck. An Azula deck is gonna have like a ton of creatures though, right? Honestly, it's fine. But anyway, yeah, the Yuri on Ice video hit 9,000, and I am feeling pretty happy about that. What's funny though, and this has only happened twice, so like this isn't like a big deal. This isn't me trying to like put anyone on blast or anything like that. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that I got 2 instances of people going, "Wow, that you know that avatar that you're using is really fucking awful. This ruined the entire video for me." And I'm just like, huh, okay, yeah, sure. Lightning Greaves, gotcha. It's funny because they're watching an anime video and, you know, I'm using my anime avatar. I can just go ahead and instruction them, right? Then when they cast Azula, I can go Fire Slash. Slice. This doesn't count towards my red spell, funnily enough, but... eh. Actually, do I want to, like, light up? I could light up the stage. Hear the critics? Nah. If they cast this Azula, I want to be able to play Cloth this next. Like, it's 1 mana for red. They're probably thinking that there's not a whole lot I could do against Fire Lord Azula, but then again, they're not. It's not like they're gonna give her haste.
Mind and body should move in unison, like wind and
Let's
wave.
see. This is 3 damage to any target. That's probably a... Roiling Vortex is kind of... Now, I would prefer to actually, like, play Clothis, but again, they're pulling a blue name. Probably wash away.
I was not prepared for this.
Fine. I am under no impression that we're actually going to beat an Azula deck. I'm just trying to make it so that way we don't just, like, instantly lose. Because as long as that's true, then we're fine. If I had 1 more land, I could... He's within. Not gonna do it. Yeah, I guess we're just alt and exhaling. Oh, Mew. Like, so here's the thing, you know? If they are complaining about the fact that I'm using a VTuber model, well, on the one hand, that means that they're actually watching my video as opposed to treating me to, like, second screen content. That's actually pretty great, right? My ghost. It means that I am making a compelling enough video that they are actively engaged with it, and there is something for them to be annoyed about. Yeah, we're gonna hard cast the light up the stage. Lose the Chandra. Pass the turn. Actually, hold on. Am I playing around Stifle or Hail? I think I'd rather play around Hail's End. And then make sure that we have Sylvan's Scrying. I kind of like Sylvan's Scrying. Second screen? Blasphemy. I have 1 screen and that's enough. Okay. I mean, you know what? Fair. Fair. I wasn't a second monitor girly for a long time either. At least until at the very least, until I started playing Final Fantasy XIV. Let's see, that's 2 mana. So this is Sylvan Scrying. They can counter Sylvan Scrying. They're not going to counter Sylvan. I can grab Cavernous Souls now. It's tough to be a god when you play the uncountable card. I guess you could put Clothis on top? Sure, why not? Okay, yeah, they're gonna go ahead and pitch a card to Subtlety. They're gonna pitch a Spell Pierce, which is... yeah, that's Library. Hold on, do I have anything? I have Beast Within and Burning Hands. Not really worried about a 3/3. Yeah, you can go ahead and put Clothis back into... Don't have room for a second monitor anyways. You've got 27-inch that's taking up space on its own? Holy shit. But also, like... So, generally speaking... Oh, hey, that's Wan Xing Tan. That's a 4/4. Yep, that sure is a 4/4. Can't do anything about a 4/4. Okay. So then, what happens if I get to play the 1/1? Then I get a redraw. They got Washington who like draws some cards and gets bigger every time I search my library. Okay, so like to reiterate the point, they're complaining about my video. That means that they're actually paying attention. So that is actually a confidence booster, if you think about it. Confidence booster in terms of like the quality of the stuff that I'm putting out there. Always very happy about that. Arc Ritual, sure. That lets you cast Azula. I think I'd rather you have Azula than... Or, no, I think I'd rather you have Wan Xing Tan than Azula. Ooh, Command Tower's pretty good. Don't have anything that punishes me. Ooh, and there's Blood Moon? Pretty cool. Okay. I can go... Well, the Blood Moon stops the Clothis, right? Yeah. Well, they say your haters are fans too, just not the pleasant kind. No, why? Why, Deck? Why? That wasn't at all what I wanted. Oh, I'm so mad right now. I am so mad right now. It tapped my forest, and I didn't even pay attention to it. I was going to use this Beast Within to deal with Azula, but I guess that's fine. That's a big whoopsie. That is a big ass whoopsie. Sigh. Once again, just like, you know, your casual reminder that you should definitely manually tap when you want to make sure that specific lands are open for later. Now they get to attack in. And if they have like anything they can do with their red and their blue mana, like bounce my Blood Moon, now I'm just feeling really sad. Oh, hey, yeah, that works. So, like, that's gonna be 12, 12. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, like, literally lost the game because the auto tapper tapped my fucking forest. Ow. Oh well, that was still a GG up to that point. I'll tell you what though, I'm not gonna stop using my I'm not gonna stop using my model until I have like actual pictures that I can use. Like if some essayists do that thing where they actually have cutouts Like they have PNGs of different poses to help express like what the tone is trying to be and stuff like that, and they'll flip through them. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's fine. It's going to take me some time to actually come up with a few of those myself, and I've been planning on doing that anyway. But even then, I'm not going to stop using my model. Like the whole talking head thing, just, it helps, right? It helps cut down on the amount of actual editing I need to do. It gives me space where I don't have to include a lot of clips and stuff. So like, I get it. I get why people won't like the thing. Also, I have to think about the fact that this is... Like, I actually do get it. I do get it. I don't think that the scenes where I'm using my model as my talking head are that great either. But at the same time, I'm still doing some amount of work to try and keep keep it kind of interesting. Okay. So Cinderglade actually doesn't do anything. Both of these are going to come into play tapped. Everything's going to come into play tapped except this goddamn crossroad. Well, I've got land for day. Anyway, as we were. I'm going to go ahead and play this out now, actually. Because I want to be able to cycle this thicket and or use this burn effect. Yep, they're ramping up. Ramp. I don't think I can do it instantly. What happens if they're randomly running Winter Moon? And for Conjuring, whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless they discard a card. That's fine by me. I cannot play either of these yet. But I can't just like shoot them directly in the face. Actually, what I want to do is 2 damage directly to their face. You know what? I'll just lose the 5 life. Like, they're gonna make me discard a hell of a lot of cards. I'm gonna make it harder for them, I guess. And then I'm just gonna play Virtue of Courage so that way I can everything. Oh, discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land. I mean, all of these are... Now I can play Chandra, actually. That's 5, 6. Yeah, actually, it works out. I actually do want it life a little bit.
Stay back. I'm an explosively good pyromancer.
Next, our creature. There we go. That just closed down the clock, and now they have to either kill Chandra or recast from rack. They can't do both. Oh wait, no, they just have Rankle. Fuck you, Rankle. I was really counting on that, Sean. Damn. Yep. I just lose things. Actually. Alright, here's where the things get to happen now. I can also escape to the wild. This is each player discards a card, and then each player can draw cards. Each player can do stuff. You know what? I'll just discard a card. I don't give a shit. Let's see, we have Sear, we have 2 damage, we have green thing. Bandit's Hall next turn. Pretty good. I mean, I guess I do lose 5 life from the Painful Quandary. That's not nothing. Turgrid. Whenever an opponent sacks a non-token or discards a permanent card. Okay. I have all the mana in the world. Okay, so then it's really just a question of sacrifice a non-token permanent or discards. Sure. To get my Misty Rainforest for whatever that's worth. I can Bandit's Hall. What's that actually do? Doesn't really do a whole lot. I'm gonna be taking so much damage though. Yeah, I'm gonna be losing so much damage. But I think it's probably better just go ahead, play this, discard, shove aside. Say goodbye to the Bandit's Hall, that's fine, that's whatever. Then we'll just, the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent with 1 or fewer cards. Okay, sure, yeah. We are not eating good. Not at all, folks. Yeah, we're kind of just getting swept. It's like, I can't play anything without just, like, losing an ass load of life. Like, this puts me down to 4? Yeah, damn. Okay, shit. Well, you know what? Sure. I'm at 2. I'm going to take 2. I'm going to take 2 here. Upkeep. This main phase. You know what? Fine. I'll just show myself the way out. Damn, Painful Quandary got hands. Wasn't expecting it to eat through my life that fast. But hey, we hit our goal. So like, you know what? GG. Let's see. This is just weekly arena announcement. Alright. So that being said, go ahead and switch over to Squall. And we're going to take a look at the deck. We're going to do some tweaking to get ready for Friday. Hey, as a reminder, guys, I am not going to be streaming on Wednesday or Thursday. Like, it's that time of the month again where my wife and I go out for an appointment. And then, you know, I basically spend those 2 days just taking care of my wife. It's nice. It's cozy. We get to stay in. We watch a movie that our husband wouldn't be into. We get to make special snacks. I'm going to make, like, probably, I don't know, maybe I'll make some pizza puffs or something on Wednesday. Everything. I feel like I realized something the other day and I just completely forgot what I could do. I wonder what that would be. That time of the month again, phrasing? Lucky, come on, you know better than that, guy. You know better than that. Like, guys, we are living in an age where we have moved past it. We have moved past the haha person has, you know, is menstruating joke. Like, if we want to do phrasing around, like, wow, you know, I'm really taking a pounding here, then, like, yeah, absolutely, by all means, that's pro bono here. But, you know, we don't have to, you know, perpetuate the cycle of Lamau periods. Did you say pro boner? See, that's what we're talking about. That's what the people want. They don't want they don't want haha, you know, some people have periods. They want Lamal boners. Exactly. Roxanne Bass. Waif is probably one of my best options here, especially with the ghost form. I'll take this. Lead off on the trawler. Then see where we go from there. I can even use the anointed peacekeeper first. Try and keep them off. My goal is going to be kill whatever Mandork they play, buy myself enough time to play the peacekeeper, put Roxanne on 7 to play, and hopefully that's enough to get set up and come back to victory. Like, yeah, there's a half lane killer with fire. We've got Felia as well, so that's a start. Waifs. Okay. This could be like right into a bolt, but I don't think I'm allowed to care. Okay, so it's Mephit's Enthusiasm that's going to kill Peacekeeper. But they don't have any immediate... They don't have any other immediate removal. They have Vorinclex coming up. They have Delina coming up. I could name Mephits, but no. I'm just going to go ahead and name Roxanne. Because that way, even if they hit like any sort of ramp off the top, now they have to, on their turn, use that, kill the Peacekeeper. They can't kill the Goyf anymore. If I hit another lane, I can play Squall. And then I can get back the Peacekeeper on the next turn. Yep, there's the Mephit's Enthusiasm. That is Mother of Runes. That is not what I wanted. But Bargoyf is now live. And alternatively, we have Mom. If I had something else to do with Mother, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, Felia is also taking our white pip right now. Yep, there's Settle the Wild, so they can go ahead, get it landed, and they draw a 4-cost card. Yep. Sand is guaranteed to come down next turn, but I guess just, like, one Barrowwaif is way too hot for them. And we drew Thieves' Tools, so I guess the only thing we can do is play Mom, play Thieves' Tools. And, you know, protect Squall. Why did you keep a hand that was like 1 mana dork and all top ends? Like they hit this. I guess the Mephit's Enthusiasm does slow me down a little bit, but you're playing against a black-white deck. I think it's pretty safe to assume most black-white decks are chock full of, right? And also hand attack. You know, this says Emmet Selk, but this is actually Crick, son of Yawgmoth, which means that this can get pretty crazy pretty fast. For each black in the cost, they can pay 2 life rather than actually pay mana, so you know. Ye old unfair decks doing what they do best. I have a card that I can pitch to Solitude. But they're very likely to just take the Solitude. So here's a Giver of Runes. That's going to protect anything that we have on board. Cult Construct. What? Brick's usually like a combo deck, right? Interesting. Okay, there's a Swamp. We can play Zac. Am I still holding up this Razorgrass Ambush as a potential pitch card? I think I am. Which means we're dropping Zac now. Ask him to... And then we have Necromancy here, so like we could theoretically Solitude again. Fear of Ridicule. That's cool. That is very, very cool. I can't actually use Zac to protect it though. Is it worth holding up a turn? It might be. But like if they don't deal with the fear of ridicule, then I can potentially drop Squall on the next turn and it will have the doubled strike. And they have like untapped mana, so like maybe they just have removal, Giver of Runes. Yeah, sure, yeah, you can have nerfed Orcish Bowmasters. We don't care about that. We'll care about that if we draw like a Mistress Bobble or something, but that's about it. Unless your fucking combo is 7 mana, target player draws half their deck. No, thank you. I want... Hold on. Do I want a Solitude on my turn or their turn? Let's Solitude... Okay, now we can go ahead and do this on our turn. I want to grab another white source, but I can't. And then it's... Yeah, we're going to exile the Bowmasters. Absolutely. Because if that's going to be part of the combo, then that's what we want to get rid of. Alright, so here's Squall. I still have this Giver of Runes. It gets Double Strike. Alright, it just happens. They might have like a Toxic Deluge to blow us out, but... We hit their Bloodcast? Sure. And we get Dothy Voidwalker. That's quite a hit. That's actually really good. Now, Giver of Runes, you don't give... Okay, you do give protection. You're not Skrelv. You don't give Hexproof. Ball Stronghold, currently -1 mana. Alright, there's... Crick. Now they can go ahead and play whatever they want. Yep, guys, Ghost Form. That would do it. Whenever the creature would be exiled, it comes back. Yep. Okay, okay. My turn. I have a Grand Abolisher I can't cast. I have Necromancy. Lifelink. And then also Kaya's Ghost Form. I can attack with both tokens. And then they can't do anything. I've also got this Necromancy that I can use to get back Solitude. I can't use Squall, that's for sure. I can use Giver of Runes to give Pro Black. Let's see, is this whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets Double Strike until end of turn? Yeah, so let's do it like that. Next, go to combat, attack in. Boop, get a guy. And we hit the Great Merchant of Asphodel and just fucking bonk him. Okay, that was really funny. That was really funny. Also, like, I don't know. I like that the Nightmare of Ridicule exiles their creatures as opposed to just like literally yoinking the card itself from our deck. It prevents any sort of like flicker or blink shenanigans from being able to reuse the effects. It makes them really small. Like it turns them into 1/1. Turns them into 1/1s regardless of what their original stats are. And then like, I don't know. It's also just like a crab. That's kind of peak design right there, you know? Oh, just yoink their Grey Merchant. Okay, yeah. I'm not entirely sure what this deck was setting up to do, though. Was this trying to be, like, aggro? As in, like, you can literally play Brick as a 4-mana card, and then just drop your entire hand and flood the field with bodies? Is that what we're doing here? Or was this supposed to be more, like, mono black good stuff? Yeah, either way, that's the way the cookie crumbles. double check the strength of the YouTube stream. Now that I actually have buttons to help me out with setting everything else up, I don't mind the little bit of work that it takes to get YouTube set up. It'd be nice if I could figure out a way to automate YouTube stream setup in the same way, but that just ain't happening. At least not yet. I do still need to work on like the collab button. That would help a bit. This is big red control. Chandra Awakened Inferno can be a real pain in the butt. I don't know quite how well. We've got Felia, we've got Solitude. Exile target, non-land permanent. This hand doesn't do anything. It does have a redraw. I don't like the amount of non-basics it has. It has some marsh flats to help us out with that, though. You get to go first. Solitude can hit like any of their big creatures that they have, like the Kandao Furnace. Felia kind of helps. I guess I'll keep this because we have the Mox Amber with Felia. Felia could get, like, you know, bolted out of the sky. Remember, kids, we're up against mono red, so just don't take anything for granted and grab all the fetches you can. And then show me what you're drawing. Mountain? Okay, cool. Is mountain. Candela, that's cool. That helps us out a bit. Agdim's Awakening. Cool. Not quite what I want, but cool. Play this Mox Amber now? So that way, if we need to, we can save dog. Cold Steel Heart. Sure. They're gonna ramp. I'm gonna ramp. Let's see. We can also bounce the dog. Loco's had one, getting you a full foil set of life towns. Holy shit. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Even you control gain hexproof and indestructible. Am I playing Squall right now? I think I am. I think I'm playing Squall now. Attacking with the dog. Blanking out the Mox Amber, so that way we can hold up the Candela. They're only going to have 4 mana. They can't play a Wrath big enough unless it's exactly the one copy of 4 damage. Okay, 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Here's Candela. Candela's going to bounce the dog to our hand. That's 3 damage to Squall. Squall can still get bolted. I am very sorry, Squall. Yep, there's the Burst Lightning. Yeah. Well, I'm back, I guess. Skyclave Apparition. Eat the Cold Steel Heart? That's probably correct. And then we have, like, 1 mana left over to do something else. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and start crewing. Next turn, we've got Jarina and Doge. Doge is +3/+3, bare minimum. You're gonna have to spend more removal on Apparition. They might just, like, burn the Candela. I guess it once the Candela is fully stationed, the Mox Amber turns on. They're only behind a little bit. As soon as that Chandra comes down, we're just gonna fucking eat it. Like, Felia needs to get bigger sooner. Right now, Felia is still very boltable, and Jarina only protects human. They give up the 1 rain. Holy shit. They must... Oh, yeah. Increasing Vengeance to turn that into a draw 6. Gotcha. Yeah, that's really good. That's exactly what the mono red deck needs to do. Okay, so... We're still Or potentially 2 turns away, but I feel like a Wrath is also very possible. So I'm actually going to prioritize crewing up this Candela. I can play Dauntless General. I think it's probably correct of me to do so. So then let's actually... Enters, exile the graveyard. That's not irrelevant. And then now the Mox Amber's online. You're only 2 away. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature of mana value 3 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. Love that. Love that. They could Wrath this turn, and I would not. But I would get a dog afterward. Yeah, get your 1/1 little dwarf. That's fine. Guardian Idol, sure. So Chandra's coming down next turn regardless. Is it worth it to play Felia now? I want to believe. I want to believe in Felia. And if they shoot the dog, well then they shoot the dog. And I can't do anything about that. I can play Squall. Then let's just go to combat. Attack with Failure. Loop. And loop. Nah, hold on. If they exile the apparition, then it just swords the plowshares. Right. Then they just... Yeah. I want... Like, I don't care about this. Because I have... Oh, wait, I have solid. Let's just go ahead and this pre-combat then. Now this does mean that you know, the dog doesn't get to actually like... Oh wait, no, the dog does come back. The dog comes back, that gets bigger, that's fine. And they have to tap out in order to actually like get rid of the Skyclave apparition. Okay, everything's okay. Yeah, everything's fine. Of course, they could just like literally have a Wrath effect. No, they're just gonna play Chandra. That's fine. Okay. -3 gets rid of the Skyclave apparition. No, they're going to try and just like kill my dog, which I guess that's fine. Can't really stop that. Dorina only protects humans. I mean, Squall's gonna bring the dog back anyway. What am I worried about? Oh wait, no, she exiles it. Right. Okay. Yeah, right, yeah, she exiles it, so I don't get my dog back. Oh, Selfless Savior's kind of cool, though. Go ahead and crew you. Yeah, we can go ahead, play Squall. Play Squall. Next, go to combat. You go over there. You do both go at face. And then Candela just like puts Selfless Savior into play. Okay, so like it would have to be Hour of Devastation now. Sweet. See, I'm naming all these different Wraths because I play Clothis. And this is basically how I play Clothis. It's just like a bunch of removal and some draw effects, but also... I don't know. It had exactly the one Wrath and not a lot else. So either they're not playing enough of those Wrath effects or they just did not see them at all. Which, like, hey, you know what? I completely sympathize. They got a reload of 6, so that must have been a lot of fluff. FYI, I'm going to assume you mean you're muted, Fran, or that you have me on stream muted. Yeah, I'm going to assume that means that you have me muted from your phone, because I'm definitely not muted IRL. Definitely. I have multiple things. What was I thinking? Oh, God. I actually did some thinking, and I came to a moment of clarity this morning. There's a reason why I have an issue with planeswalkers and control decks and stuff like that. It's not necessarily just that they poke holes in my deck and make me feel bad. That's not the only reason, I promise. It is for the very simple reason that when you lose to a control deck, you know it like 10 turns before the game is finished. And you're like, okay, I've probably lost this one. And it just takes me a long time to, you know, for the game state to reflect that, right? For the actual life totals to match. And I do not care for how trapped that makes me. It makes me feel trapped. And then it also just like, I don't know. It feels almost like you're leaving money on the table in a sense. Leave that on top. Because then you're like, well, I'm not technically out. I'm not technically dead. I'm not dead yet. Definitely want to grab the Sword of Fire and Ice here. I should keep playing. No, I don't want to do this. No. Then it's just like, no. You will accept that you lost. Am I supposed to blow up the boots over the Talisman of Progress? It might be. It might actually be correct to do that. I think I'm supposed to blow up the boot. Because Narset having haste is actually, like, crazy incorrect. And there's also no way that they just, like, have counter magic. Unless... Like, I'll spend a turn, I'll equip the Cloud. They probably have removal for Cloud. Oh, no, they have Psych Rift. Okay, even better. Stock up? Okay, sure. Fantastic, you'll love to see that. This Prismatic Vista grabbing black or probably... No, I don't know. Cloud is like one of the only... No, I have Grand Arbiter. If I hit Grand Arbiter, I'm actually really happy about that. Yeah, absolutely. Hit like a dual land in this next turn cycle. Sunbillow Verge. Got an Anointed Peacekeeper. Actually, if we cast Anointed Peacekeeper, we get to see exactly what they're gonna do. Phyrexian Tower. Is there ever like a time where I... Yes, actually, if I play Jarina. Yeah, if I play Jarina first. Yeah, actually. So I play Jarina first. Now I can exile their graveyard. Now I can play Anointed Peacekeeper. I can just, like, name Narset. Oh, they also have Chandra. Chandra's a problem, but I can use Jarina to help out with that. They've got Dig Through Time that they can't cast right away. They've got one with the Multiverse that they can't use right away. And Steam Vents. Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good about Narset. Lightning Map. Now, notably, if I had named Chandra, they actually would not be able to name Chandra stuff. But I'm also in a position where I can use Squall to get Jarina back. Or at least that's the idea. Alright, just cycle, get themselves a shark. Shark that dies right away, that's fine, that's cool. I get ya. This is non-totem. This buys us an extra turn. I don't like that one with the multiverse. We definitely want to get Squall down so that way we can start cycling more. Yep, that's Chandra, alright.
Time to light up the
Ooh,
darkness.
adding mana, okay. Chandra does copy instants and sorcery, so they have, like, any bolt effect. Yep.
Fight with your
So let them copy the bolt first. Go ahead, activate Jarina. They gain hexproof and indestructible. 7. Ah, yeah, actually, that does matter, doesn't it? Because this is 5, 6, 7 right here. Yeah, 6, 7 right there. Oh yeah, Lamau, 6, 7. Now, this is going to be 3, 4 at them, and I'll just shoot her with Sword of Fire and Ice.
I'm never giving up. You won't win so easily. I'm all out of fuel.
And now they can go ahead. They still can't drop Narset, but they can dig through time. And I have to worry about the fact that they can play one with the multiverse and they get one freebie. So I have to play Squall this turn cycle. And like, I play Squall, I let Cloud do his thing. Yeah. Go combat with Cloud. They did have Swords to Plowshares. Aww. See. I don't have anything that instantly, so sure. They have plenty of huge spells that they can play with one with the multiverse. Also, they just have Supreme Verdict. Why would you do that, though? When you can just, like, play one with the multiverse into Supreme Verdict. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or top. That doesn't feel correct. Yeah, it doesn't feel correct at all. I mean, they do get to play Narset. They get to potentially, like, play Narset with backup support or some way to give her haste. That's not irrelevant. I don't know, man. Yep, okay, so there's one with the multiverse. You have to have a Banner in this next one. You have to have a Banner. And if you're cruising through my graveyard, you might just have one. But also, like, Squall's just gonna murder them. Like, that's 10, 12, 14. That's 14 damage. So if they don't have any answer to Squall, then I just hit them and win anyway. This is once during each of your turns, so they have to use actual command tower to play it. Oh, wait, did they not have enough mana last? Yeah, this is like 10 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they didn't have enough mana to play one with the multiverse last time. Okay, I understand now. I understand. Yeah, good guys win, bad guys live. That's what we love to see. And that should wrap up the magic segment perfectly too. I guess if the Narset was already under control with the Cursed Marauder, then I could have just played Anointed Peacekeeper and named Chandra, but it's not like they had like a ton of removal. I don't know. I feel like there were some decision paths where I could have played that just like a little bit more efficiently, but you know, you really can't complain about. but you can't learn about the process that you took to get there. All right, let's go play some Final Fantasy, shall we? See, double check, make sure my settings are correct. Log. No, I don't want to. Wow, now I know what I can do with the dots that are in my activity feed. Okay, so if I remember correctly, already finished the Wondrous Tales. We're just still doing bird chores. Do PvP. Yeah. We almost have Black Mage to 71. Just like 3 more levels, and then Black Mage is set till Shadowbringers. Honestly, this is great. I spent all that time getting all my jobs up to level 60, so that way they could wear ye old Garo gear. Now that they're wearing ye old Garo gear, I can use them while I slowly get them geared up with Poetics and just get all those DPS up to 71 for the next tier of the game. Because I feel like there's definitely 2 or 3 different tiers that you would want to take into consideration, right? Because initially there's like the base game. There's Realm Reborn. And as far as leveling goes, you really only have Rolettes and House of the Dead. Like if you're really hard up on leveling, then it's just Rolettes and Pals of the Dead. That is what you have to do. Once you get to Heaven's Ward, that's tier 2, because that's when you get the Wondrous Tales, and that's when you get... Well, okay, yeah. Well, yeah. PvP is a Rolette, so like, you know. But at the same time, it's not like, you know, part of the leveling Rolette, it's not the MSQ type stuff. You know what I mean. But then once you get to Wondrous Tales, then you can actually, like, get Poetics and get XP without having to go through the rigmarole of the entire roulette system. You can utilize the roulette system as you want. You can always, like, you know, spam dungeons to do the thing. But there is a marketable difference between trying to get a job off the ground from level 1 and then trying to get a job from, like, level range to level... capstone? Capstone. From getting capstone level range to capstone level range. A part of why I did all that work to get from 50 to 60 while still in the Realm Reborn wasn't just because of the Garo gear, but because if I had to run all of those Heaven's Ward dungeons again, I think I was going to frickin' lose it. I have run the Realm Reborn dungeons, the Heaven's Ward dungeons, plenty at this point. I don't really need to indulge unless there's a specific reason. So... And at this point, I always wanted the leveling from Pals of the Dead to be a nice bonus. I never wanted it to be the primary means of leveling. I've seen what that did to Wrath Games. I saw the madness in his eyes. I don't need that evil upon me. Now, Heaven on High, now we might be talking. But even then, like, Stormblood is still in that same tier that I consider Heaven's Ward to be, because any jobs that you're leveling from 50 to 70, well, you have the base core of your rotation, but you're probably still missing a couple of things until you get there. So in terms of like dungeons, maybe, you know, you're not quite feeling the rotation. Maybe you're still missing some stuff that you'll get later on. This is one of those things where I really hate to admit some people are correct, but there is something to be said about Black Mage not being able to have its ley lines until 52. And that's purely just because I love ley lines. That's not a I think the job is unplayable before then. It's the I just there are some jobs like Gunbreaker where part of what I love about the job is all the buttons that come later, but we don't have nearly as many buttons at the very start. Oh, I forgot to actually like queue into PvP, so I need to make sure I do that. Yeah. Like the rotation here is perfectly fine. Like it's mostly fire and getting fire starters so you can get the occasional fire 3. But then when you get the fire 3, you feel so good about it because it's like, ah man, the RNG proc, this feels great. Like unironically. Before I continue. He's outside. Stormblood is more or less the same because there isn't any big spike in what you have access for leveling. When you do your leveling in Stormblood, the only thing that you have access to that you didn't before is Heaven on High. You know, that's after the first trial. Oh wait, I can actually skip the cutscene. So, you know, that's just more deep dungeon stuff. And, like, I don't mind having that as, like, incidental XP. But again, not what I want to, you know, use as my primary leveling outlet. That is, that is more or less the same idea as but when you do get to 71, now you're in Shadowbringers. And when you're in Shadowbringers, you get 2 things that help your leveling immensely while keeping it casual. You get your reputation quests with the pixies. They're the battle society, right? And doing their quests gives you a much more sizable chunk of XP than the society reputation quests currently in Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward, and Storm. And I say this from experience from leveling both my main account and my other side account, Corey. So yeah, those are definitely part of the rotation for anyone who's leveling from 71 to current cap, which is. But in Shadowbringers endgame, you also get Baja, and Baja gives so much experience. More than that, you also get to work on your relic weapon. You get to work on your relic weapon. You get to farm a lot of items that sell for a lot, like mounts and stuff, and you get the XP. And that's something that I know from more like knowledge than I do from experience. Mostly it's been like, you know, looking up the best ways of leveling, watching Insider Spider do stuff, what have you. But yeah, Baja is just one of the better ways to level up. So between that, the Society quest, and the Wondrous Tales, once I have all my jobs to 71, I can just pump them through all of those at a leisurely pace and have them level to cap. Now, as far as leveling past Baja, Baja is good for the 71 through, I want to say 90? Once we get to that 90-100 cap, that's where things get a little murky. That's where we might actually have to go back to running, you know, dungeons and stuff. But at that point, you know, you're running what is currently endgame dungeons. They're decently streamlined. They have some fun mechanics. You know, there's also some gear that's worth farming. So time remains to be seen if it's worth it or not. Oh, don't go too hard. Don't go too far. Fight. Yeah, put up your dukes. Unless you happen to not be able to. I hope you know what I mean. Actually, if you don't know what I mean, like, you know, always feel free to ask. Now that I'm following the librarian, and there are so many more movies that we have to watch because Northern Lion makes a lot of jokes or references to all these other films. Like, I've got to make sure I'm keeping on the up and up. Especially when he says, like, a movie is really good. Then I'm curious about what it is or what it's saying. I usually don't watch currently or recently released films unless I hear a lot of good or interesting things. I started watching I Saw the TV Globe because I heard it was a very poignant trans narrative kind of, you know, existential horror movie. Like, that sounds right up my alley. And it was. It absolutely was. It was a fantastic film. Definitely not something that I think most people, especially the straights, are going to appreciate. And, like, you know, if it hits you in a very special spot, you might not be as cisgendered as you think. But at the same time, well, I guess that's not true. Like, there is, like, you know, there's plenty of stuff that I think that even the cis are gonna want to see and enjoy. It's a movie ostensibly about, you know, having the bravery to, you know, reach inside yourself and be the person that you discover is there. Now, we were watching things like Mulan, which have queer subtext that are also very relatable to people for other reasons, because, you know, even if you're not trans or queer in a way, there's still a lot of value to be had in self-expression, and having to repress that in the face of an environment that, quite frankly, has decided that it is going to be actively hostile to whatever it is that you are a part of. We're all fighting. But no, we find movies like that just from word of mouth, and those end up being really good. Sinners was the exact same way. I was seeing a lot of posts about it on Tumblr. Not even like discussing things, just like screenshots and like a couple of the funny moments. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm in. Also, you're telling me that this is directed by Ryan Coogler, the guy who did Black Panther and Creed? Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Sign me up. Let's make a date out of this. But NL seems to be plugged into, like, you know, what's current, what's recently released, and he's giving a look. And now, yeah, there's something about that. Now, there is the downside of, like, you know, I can only watch movies that have been out for a certain time, you know, for availability reasons. But if we can get our hands on a film that's relatively decide and give it a watch, give it an honest looking, well then. Ooh. That was kind of the issue with Godzilla Minus One. No, not Godzilla Minus One. Superman. I'm thinking of Superman, the James Gunn Superman. I was really excited to watch that, but it took a little bit for us to get a hold of a copy, because, you know, it's a newer movie, and newer movies, their availability is always suspect until they hit the major releases. Superman was pretty good. I definitely thought so. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was easily, like, one of the best super movies I had ever seen. I thought I'd seen a lot. It's like, okay, I saw Man of Steel. That was... I liked it when it released, but since then I'm just kind of like, actually, you know what? I don't think they were cooking with this one. I think this one just, like, really lost sight of what makes this character really fun. And then I saw the Christopher Reeves Superman, like, forever ago, way on, when I was just a wee lass. And I don't really remember all that much about it, in fact. Probably fine, though. I want to rewatch it at some point, just not right away. The Superman movie gives you hope that a new connected DC film universe could work out this time. I mean, but do we need a DC connected universe thing? Like, so like, let's discuss the merits of that, right? On the one hand, I get it. I would love to see a good Justice League movie. Like, if someone were to say, hey, you know, the new Justice League movie, it's really good. I had a great time with it. Like, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's check it out. We'll go ahead and we'll make a date out of that too. Like, I want the things that I like to get good treatment, right? At the same time, though, it's like, I'm hurt. I'm coming from a place of hurt. I'm coming from a place of betrayal and of, you know, lost expectations. I am seeing this thing that I once cherished and loved, and I'm seeing it just like bastardized against me. I'm seeing it weaponized in a manner that does not befit the feelings that I had for this thing. And it's like, sure, yeah, if James Gunn is running, you know, the DC cinematic universe or whatever, like, well, okay, I trust him to do an amazing job with it, first of all. Second of all, I'm like, but how long is that gonna last? How long do I have faith that, you know, we're actually gonna get a chance to see this get, you know, run its course and then not go the way of what is currently the biggest issue of the MCU, which is just bloat. MC unification. I don't know that it's about the whole interconnectedness of it. It's definitely a part of it. But it's that they don't... Oh, maybe it is, actually. Because what I was going to say was I don't like how nothing stands on its own. That's going to be my qualifier, actually. Let's go ahead and go with that. If there were to be a theoretical DC universe, I would absolutely need it to be filled with movies that are standalone. You don't have to watch like 5 other films in order to understand what's going on in this one. Just give me a project. Give me a project by a director with a vision, and then just like, don't worry about it. When you have the crossover movie, just make it a fun crossover movie. Bring in all the actors that you used in the other films. Just go ahead and come up with like an isolated problem that you can have with all the others, and then just have fun with it. Don't try and like tie in a million different things. Don't try and set up like 12 different Netflix shows. Don't try and keep everyone glued to the credit seat because we gotta tease an upcoming film and the upcoming villain that's gonna be starring in it, so we can set up a whole new arc. No. Part of what made Act 1 of the MCU so much fun for me was that we got to see a bunch of different heroes from a bunch of different styles of movies coming together to actually cross over. Not, we have a single style for all of these movies at the exact same time, and we're just kind of herding them all onto the screen at once, so that way everyone can be like, okay, they got this character and they got that character. No. We need everything to have different styles. They went and they made Thor kind of like, Magitech stuff, and I don't have any actual like problem with that on its own merit. But when they're doing that specifically so that it can exist and make sense in the same world as Iron Man, motherfucker, this is Norse mythology that you are playing around with. Enjoy that, embrace it, and then just like, revel in the spectacle that comes from having, old-time Vikings crossing over with super advanced computers. That is the fun of the superhero genre. I think where the MCU went wrong was trying to integrate TV series and everything as well. That's definitely a huge part. That was definitely like one of those first parts. I watched Daredevil. I started watching Punisher. I never got around to like Jessica Jones or Cable. No, not Cable. remember off the top of my head. At least not when I'm in streamer mode. A different hero? A new legend? Kuga? I know people who dislike fantasy but like sci-fi, but they're kind of the same TBH. Well, see, no, that's like, no, actually, you know what? Rather than as a rebuttal, yes, I agree with that. Sci-fi and fantasy are very, very similar. It's all in like, you know, the granular detail of the genre and the expectations that come with it. So you don't really need to turn one into the other in order for them to both play safely with each other, right? Like, you don't have to have science explanations for all the magic-y stuff that's going on, or have, you know, a tech aesthetic to magic in order to justify it being quasi-magic. Now again, I'm not saying that I have any issues with that per se. Magitech is actually, I think Magitech is really cool as an aesthetic. Obviously, we're playing Final Fantasy XIV right now. This is a game where that's full of Magitech. Oh no, it's not magic. It's midichlorians. It's science. Believe me. let's not talk about the midichlorians, shall we? I don't hate them the way everyone else does, but like I do agree that it was just kind of really unnecessary. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, magic and Magitech. Yeah, Magitech is really cool. I love the blending of science and magic, but I think it's way cooler when you basically take the Gap Moe philosophy in terms of deliberately marking how different each one is, and then lead into that contrast. Like, does anyone remember the convention episode of Phineas and Ferb, where Phineas and Ferb are going to see one of their favorite special effects directors, but then they also have to mediate a war between the sci-fi nerds and the fantasy nerds? Like, that's the kind of contrast that I live for. In my perfect world, would have crossovers between sci-fi and magic, and we would just have to deal with, you know, this is how both of these characters do the thing, and neither one can adequately explain exactly what it is that one is doing to the other. And or maybe they end up having, like, you know, some bleed through. You get the magic user who's able to start, like, you know, using the high-tech stuff, and you got the high-tech guys who maybe at some point tap into magic just a little itty bit. And then, as you develop the series and these two cross over more, then you can go into more of the hybridization as, you know, they flow into each other back and forth. You get that cultural give and take. You know what I mean? Honestly, I think part of why I've really been enjoying the DCU films more is because of that other aspect that I brought up. The fact that they've kind of quasi given up on doing cinematic stuff. Like, you can't tell me that, you know, board of directors is like 1000% going, actually, you know what, we're good. We don't need to try and like turn this into a thing that's bigger than, you know, it has any right to be. Like, no, we're just gonna like keep it on small scale and, you know, let that be enough. Tell me that they're actually staying behind closed doors. But at least for now, we do have, you know, individual directors working on each of these movies and doing kind of like their own vision profile. Who was the guy who played Aquaman? It was like Jason Momoa, I think? I can never remember his last name. Like, you know, the Drago guy from Game of Thrones. Now there's a man I wouldn't mind seeing play more Aquaman. Jason Momoa? Yes, thank you, Sam, thank you. Absolutely would love to see more Aquaman from that actor, but I think they've gone ahead and moved. I think the whole Dan Snyder Justice that. But at the same time, Birds of Prey was a good one. That was a very, very, very good one, actually. It kind of made me want to like really start watching a lot of the Harley Quinn stuff. Like The actress who played Penny in The Big Bang Theory, she is actually just like Kaylee Kuzku or something like that. Yeah, I think it was something like that. She is not only the voice of Harley in the Harley Quinn show, but she is also one of the executive producers for that show. So like she's one of the show's biggest fans, and she's pushing for it. She's pushing for it, right? That was another one where you can just like you see the creative vision behind this show, and you have something that's really cool and unique and wonderful about it. And oh my god, we are so close to winning. We just have to like not fucking die. I fucking died. Oops. And we got second. And 19 assists. Not bad. Actually, where was I on? Profile, series milestone. I can grab my minion. Got the G-Warrior MGSD. Master Garland Superior Design. And I can't wait till we get to Kaylee Coco. Yeah. She also worked in a sitcom we shall not call by name. It's too late. I already name dropped Big Bang Theory. I already name dropped it. It's too late for that. 12 feet. Honestly, I was really surprised that it was her. Like, I thought she sounded familiar. I just, like, I could not name it. I could not name it for the life of me. I had long since put that show out of my head. Yeah. Go ahead and just take care of the rest of the bird. Hold on, how many of the DC movies? No, I didn't hate Green Lantern as much as the general viewing audience. I thought the Green Lantern movie was perfectly fun and serviceable. Like, it made sense to me. I know that the general viewing public likes to meme on how bad Green Lantern was, but like, it's fine. It's fine. I think the only thing it really did poorly was that it tried to set up a sequel. Like, no, I get this. This is like decent Green Lantern lore. Now, granted, it's not like I was a major Green Lantern fan beforehand. I've never read like a Hal Jordan or a Kyle Rayner comic. I was more of a John Stewart guy, and that was really just because of Justice League Unlimited. Only complaint about Kaylee Cuoco's Harley Quinn is the lack of the iconic New York accent. Wasn't that because, like, Harley's actually from Boston? I feel like she's actually supposed to be from, like, yeah. I feel like she's actually supposed to be from Massachusetts. Favorite Green Lantern is Daffy Duck. Shut up, Sam. Shut up, Sam. Shut up, Sam. I completely forgot about that. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. What was that? I feel like not only was that a comic book crossover, I feel like that was also... Oh, I gotta go all the way over there. I feel like that was actually just like one of the cartoons. And I, for the life of me, can't remember where I saw that. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't for the life of me remember, but I have that feeling of like, okay, I can see the memory in there, but stuck behind the plexiglass and I can't reach it. The fire hydrant is not thick enough to break through the glass. It happened several times. Okay, that might explain why I feel like I've seen it at least once. Oh, God. This is going to bother me now. I'm going to need to look this up later. I'm either going to need to look it up later, or I'm going to need to, I don't know, go into a deep self-immersed sleep to discover the location of, you know, the do not break glass hammer. Yeah. You know, Power Rangers actually had a crossover with the DC Heroes too. I don't think they did anything too crazy with it. Because mostly what was happening was, oh, the Rangers went into the DC universe. They had like their obligatory "you and me must fight until we have the chance to resolve, you know, this miscommunication about who is doing who." And then Rangers lost their powers. They got stuck. They had to actually like work with the DC crew while they were unmorphed until they could get back, and then they could pilot their robots. IRC, Lila's favorite Green Lantern is Guy Gardner. Yeah, yeah, I think I remember that too. Because Guy Gardner is literally just like a piece of shit. He is comically a piece of shit. He's also like the version of Green Lantern we see in the Superman movie. So, you know, there is that. I was always a Jon Stewart gal, but you know who I really wanted to watch? The girl whose name I can't remember, despite the fact that that I saw Superhero Girls. Superhero Girls is that DC animated series that was originally pitched and conceptualized by Lauren Faust, the same woman who pioneered the style and tone and direction for G4 My Little Pony. That did end up getting Jessica Cruz. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. You are on top of it for me. Thank you so much. Wonder Woman was basically Twilight Sparkle. Close. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they redid Jessica's personality because, like, you know, you really don't want to have to dive deep into PTSD when you're doing a show ostensibly about, you know, being able to have fun as a superhero, as opposed to, you know, all the darker, grittier, more mature themes of being a superhero. This is you know, this is Hal Jordan is a jock kind of he's kind of a tool type of, hey, you know, this is fun. This is Supergirl getting a text from Superman after the news reported that she died, and being like, hey, you die, and then Supergirl replies, no, and then Superman just sends a thumbs up back. Like, it is a very silly, very fun superhero show. Also Tara Strong, who did actually voice Twilight Sparkle, voiced Batgirl in that series. So, you know, that's also a nice little fun point. Seeing that we have Guy Gardner, that if they do it, there has to be the iconic scene of Batman knocking out Guy with one punch. Agreed. Like, you're always going to be disappointed in your allies in a coalition, but Guy did show up like a little bit late to the party. Wonder Woman is Twilight, Power Girl is Rainbow Dash, Zatanna is Rarity, Bumblebee is Fluttershy, Batgirl is Pinkie Pie, and Green Lantern wasn't really much Applejack, but she was cool. I mean, I don't know that you can really like one-to-one them that way. Like, Jessica was really more of just like a, you know, we're gonna save the Earth type hippie more than anything else. And like, I even hesitate to say like hippie per se. She was definitely like a teenager's version of, like, you know, what an environmental rights activist would be doing. Although they did have that episode where she rescued Dexter from an animal shelter, and they had to deal with angry Red Lantern Kitty. In that series, Tara Strong was Batgirl and Harley Quinn. You know, I didn't remember what Harley's voice sounds like, but that fits. That fits with what I do remember. Also, here's a fun fact for you, chat. The whole reason why I have the VT at the end of my name, even on YouTube, is literally because if you go to YouTube and search Hero Girl, the Superhero Girl show is what's going to come up. The show, and apparently the and apparently a tie-in video game that I didn't know about. So like, I'm just kind of shooting from behind the 8 ball here. Not gonna lie. I've almost got maxed out tombstones. Okay, I need to go like cash these in. It was still a good show though. I watched all of both seasons. The Power Girl episode in particular made me really happy. Because in that same episode where, like, you know, the news is announcing that Supergirl's dead. She uses it as a chance to just, like, completely rebrand and, like, you know, get a fresh lease on life. Get a fresh start. Grab, how many, do we have 5 king? 5 king cakes, 5 Francescas, 14 spelling. What? That's not right. That's definitely okay. Oh, right. These are for... Okay. Okay. I think I get it. This stuff wasn't for the, for our animal relic. This stuff was for the heckin' Zodiac relic, wasn't it? Okay. I see. Well, sure that I will continue to find other things I need to do. Of course, that's fine. That's not an issue. There's also Hero Girls in Precure, which can also be read as Soaring Sky Precure. You know, I haven't actually seen any Precure beyond the 2 seasons that Saban brought into dub. It's true. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, no, Hiroko, come back. I need you to go get gem. Sure. Crystals from. Let's go buy me some products here. I've tried watching Precure like a couple of times before, and it's just like watching it subbed, it does not stick. I have the hardest time getting it to stick. Also, just like, yeah, this is just the Vanguard stuff. But watching it in English, it helps, right? It's like, I'm not watching Power Rangers this day and age, like, straight on most of the time, because so much of it is like action sequence fight scenes. And, you know, it's the English actors, so the choreography isn't quite as good as it would be for JP. But I like listening to it, and I like, you know, passively absorbing the story and stuff. I can't do that with subbed show. So that is a downside. I mean, you can't watch Power Rangers straight. I mean, I was never watching Power Rangers straight. I was always watching them gay. Which gear was I trying to do next? Was it Dragoon next? I think it was. Yeah, it was going to be Dragoon next because I really wanted to get the rest of... Gotcha. Yeah, Power Rangers is off the air now, so... Can't really watch, like, any of the new episodes. Can't watch Power Rangers straight? Confused Unga Bunga? Oh man. And hold on. probably tomorrow turn in our Wondrous Tales if we get. Yeah. So like, here's the thing, right? Power Rangers is currently off the air. It cannot get any more episodes, and I'm pretty sure Hasbro, who currently owns the rights to Power Rangers, also just like has no interest in producing more. Like, we saw this before with Disney too. We saw this before with basically anyone who wasn't Saban. They weren't interested in producing more seasons unless, for example, you could shoot those seasons in New Zealand where they don't have union. Yay! Sarcastic yay. So, you know, that's already an issue. But add into it that Hasbro having the rights to Power Rangers is also probably part of why Sentai has ended the Sentai series, for the simple reason that, you know, they can't sell Sentai license globally because that's Power Rangers. Okay. Okay. See? I like it. Show me what this looks like. Oh, wait, hold on. This is the Disciple of Hand. Okay. I'm sorry, folks. I am a what they call a glamaholic, and I very much enjoy the chance to try on other people's outfits and see how they look on Themora. Not bad. I like that. Good. And now, especially now that they've gone ahead and, you know, lifted the glam, the glam embargo. I really want to see what people come up with. I want to see what people who have been clamoring for, you know, the glams to be unlocked. I want to see what they actually come up with now that they have their newfound freedom. Speaking of which, how did I come up with the name for my character? Oh, Themora Farstrider? Okay, so like this is going to be... It's a fairly short and simple story. So, at the time that I made Themora, I was going to play her with another girl who was wanted to get into the game. It was very much a, I like this girl, so I'm going to do this in part to hang out with her. Mostly it was, I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. She was just kind of like the excuse to, you know, get the ball. And so I was trying to think of a name for this elf that I wanted to play. And I kind of had the cute idea of, okay, what if I named her The More I Love? As in, like, the more people that I can express love and affection to, the stronger I feel. And so, initially, Themora's last name was Islove. And the S was supposed to be silent. So it was The More I Love. And then things kind of, and south with that girl in particular, like, I still like her. I would still, I still like her. I would still be her friend, but like, you know, things didn't quite work out. Big 70s hippie name? Something like that. Sam mentioning that there's a peculiar sensation to seeing their Warrior of Light and Glams they never thought to put together for them. Yeah, exactly. And with Themora specifically, I have this sensation a lot less with Corey and Hiroko, my other two accounts, because I just did not make them for the purpose of dress up. Themora, though, she's a dress up doll. She gets to wear all the different outfits. She gets to have the fancy glams and stuff like that. Hiroko, and that's really part of like their character personality, because I made Themora to be like just the most sapphic character that I could think of. She gets to enjoy the aspect. She gets to enjoy fashion. Hiroko, on the other hand, my main account, the one that actually I based my my current model aesthetics off of, because she's also just kind of me. Like, she's more of the salt of the earth, straightforward soldier type who wears like one thing that's really comfortable and that's it. And then Corey is just like armor all the time, armor and metal plating. So Thamora is really the only character where I can express my fashion taste and things that I think look good on her. Now, that being said, to kind of like put the cherry on top of this little tale. So I go on and I play Thamora on her own, and I do all that stuff. I do everything that I do in the I played A Realm Reborn for 500 hours video essay. And I was like, you know what? I have done so much more and played so much more on this character in the base game than I ever did on my main account. And I kind of want her to have a, an elfy type of last name. So I just went with Farstrider. As in, like, her strides have carried her really, really far. And everything else just kind of stuck. And now you know the rest of the story. That was a program I used to listen to a lot with my father anytime that we got stuck on a road trip together. It's that show on, like, I want to say public broadcasting, where they would go over the history of something and just like provide it all out of context. They would talk about, this horrible contraption that people would see from outside, a train or a buggy or something like that. And they would talk about, this awful thing and the man who was inconceivably riding across it. And then it would end, they had witnessed the first bicycle. And now you know the rest of the story. And I thought that was just like such a great gimmick. I thought that was fantastic. And I'm also just like, I'm glad. Good story, thanks. You're welcome, Sam. You're welcome, everyone. And like, it's this kind of storytelling that I really enjoy doing. It's this kind of story that I need more practice doing, because I can get into like the mindset of, okay, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to tell a tale. I'm going to try and include a little bit of an intrigue. I'm going to try and, like, come up with a bit of a hook, and then we're going to have, a satisfying little twist on the ending. I'm trying to get into that mindset when I'm doing it live. Doing it live is actually a lot harder than having the chance to sit down, type it up, and then be like, actually, you know what? What if we don't include all of the info dumping and just talk about the parts that are good? Like, what if we actually trust the audience to have a little bit more context based of what we're talking about, and we can actually focus on the drama of the story itself? Do I know how to add good suspense to a short story? I feel like I'm being set up, so I'm going to play into it. No, Sam. How do I add suspense to a short story? And then, like, that's just like the video essay, right? That is the personal essay that I am trying to write right now for the book. The book that I am writing, that I am actively adding more chapters into so I can provide, more context to make it more story-like. That is so much easier for me to do. And it's so much easier for me to sit down and write it than it is for me to write fiction. The story of my life that some people may or may not be able to relate to. And, like, that's just how it goes. I just finished reading Caitlin Daughtry's, Caitlin Doty's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematorium. She's the person who started the Ask a Mortician channel on YouTube. And reading that book, reading her personal experience with getting into cremation, learning how to embalm, learning about, like, everything within the death industry, that gave me a very, very strong example of what personal memoirs can be. How informative, how entertaining, how personal they can feel. And so, if you're telling me that I can literally publish all of this information that I think about and spew for free, mind you, in my Discord server and on Blue Sky, I can publish that, turn it, bind it together, cover to cover, and then sell it, and people will pay me money for that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Maybe I actually just like had access to money making powers that I never realized I had in the first place. Alright, now that being said, we are at the end of the stream, but don't go away, folks. We love to pass on the love. We love to go ahead and take a look to see who is following us and who we can provide support to. We do have a Lead the Raid redeem, but no one has redeemed it just yet. Now let's go ahead and take a look here. The Killjoe is currently streaming. Arrow is also streaming, but they're streaming Secrets of Suburbia. When did I start following Alpine Showtime? I'll have to take a look at that. Let's see. There's some mutants from Lovely Momo, a much bigger streamer than I am. There's magic going on with Ben, but he's doing vintage draft. There is also Second Coil Savage from, and then there's also Kaz on Victory Road. See, then we've raided into Kaz a couple times. We've raided Killjoe a couple of times. Let's go ahead and pop into Kit Genesis and we'll leave everyone with some Final Fantasy 14 rating. How about? Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Alright. And then again, folks, just to let everyone know what's going on. Tomorrow is going to be a normal stream as always. We have the brand new Turtle set coming out. I'm going to buy the Mastery Pass. I don't think I'm going to bother with opening packs. We'll just save our money and move on. Wednesday and Thursday, there will be no stream. There will be no stream. I'm taking care of my wife, but we will be back on Friday. So again, Wednesday and Thursday, no stream. Back on Friday for Final Fantasy Fridays. And if you can remember that, then we'll catch you next time. Same hero time, same hero channel. Later.